DP Construction LLC. They have their Facebook page under the same name. Like them there, or give them a call, 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999. And I know that Tyler is looking forward to, I believe you guys have, Paulus, I think you guys have a dynasty draft tomorrow, don't you?
You know what? It actually got pushed back.
Did it?
It got pushed back. I have to work tomorrow, and then, a couple other people's schedules, didn't really click up with it.
Okay.
We were hoping for it, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, no. So it did get pushed back until probably late spring, summer, until, we all have a better opportunity to do it. So
You guys planning to live stream that or like record something
we'll
with
probably
it?
do a record
Okay.
it somehow and, send it out somewhere. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll go from there for it.
Dynasty, man, that's a big ask.
Yeah.
That's a
It's-
whole year thing,
Oh,
man.
absolutely. I've never done a dynasty before, so first time ever doing it. I no idea what picks we have, anything like that as of yet. So we'll know day of the draft, and kind of go from there. But it's gonna be, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, exciting. Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Probably draft like the worst team ever and go Sashi Brown, and just start trading picks everywhere. So
You can't be worse than me than in the League of Ordinary Gentlemen this year.
you got to win.
I got a win.
You
Yeah.
got a win.
I got a win. I got a win to put a dress on.
That is true. That is true. Could be worse though.
Yeah,
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
It won't be that bad.
Right.
I'll flaunt it like I got it.
Right.
But of course, Tyler LaFrada, I know he's looking forward to that, getting together with you guys too. And that just goes to show he's willing to talk anything with you guys. Yes, if you have concrete construction needs, those guys over there at DP Construction, they will take care of you. They will be loyal to you. They are Browns fans, Cavs fans, Indians fans. You want to talk sports, you want to talk Marvel, you want to talk anything with them, just like how we do on the show here. They are good people, and they will give you great quality work. So be sure to reach out to them. One last time, 330-217-4999, or email tylerlafrada@gmail.com. Even hit that message button on the Facebook page and look at all their pictures, and they'll give you a quote right through there. Of course, we are live across our Twitter page here tonight at VTL_pod, Instagram under the same handle. Find us on Facebook at Voice of the Land and on YouTube at Voice of the Land Podcast, or hit up Big Play. Of course, we want to thank Dave for bringing us on and allowing us to be a part of this great family on the Big Play Network. On Facebook, we always go live there at Big Play and at Big Play Live on YouTube. And, of course, our friends over at the Sportscaster app, always live on there as well. So many different ways to tune in. Heck, you want to just listen to our voices and not have to look at us through a camera? Wait until the audio gets posted during the week, and you can tune in to all those major podcast platforms we always mention. I am one of your hosts here today, Kevin Arnold. Alongside me, as always, my brother, Mr. at CLE_Paulus himself,
That's right.
Nick Paulus, and of course our producer extraordinaire behind the proverbial glass, Peter Tellup. You can reach out to him at LPV Productions Inc. on all social media sites. Of course, it is Super Bowl weekend, and we are here to give our big game preview for tomorrow night. But of course, before that happens, we have the NFL honors tonight on Saturday night. And our guy, Clay Matthews Jr., who people in Browns Nation has been clamoring for to be a Hall of Famer, he is up for possible Hall of Fame induction. We're going to kind of talk about
Last go around.
We're going to talk about kind of what that would mean to this city if he gets in, if he doesn't, and talk about some of the other awards. Kevin Stefanski could get his third Coach of the Year award, because I believe this is through the AP, the Associated Press.
I believe so, yeah.
These ones, it's sponsored.
NFL honors or something along the lines of that. But
yeah, it's through Pepsi. Like Pepsi does some of the awards and everything, but
Right.
it's basically the Associated Press. So it's the coup de grace, as they say. And then we'll get into tomorrow night's game, the matchup, and maybe where the Browns sit in terms of their ability to be a Super Bowl contender moving forward. How soon could they make a Super Bowl? We'll get into all of that, maybe some prop bets and some commercial talk at the end, but do want to start with the NFL honors tonight. And Paulus, let's look at that Hall of Fame selection. We're going to start with Clay Matthews Jr. because we want to look at the local perspective there. A guy that played 19 seasons, linebacker, one of the toughest positions. You see a lot of guys going maybe 9, 10, 11 seasons now.
Maybe, right.
the wear and tear that football puts on your body, I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself. It's not the only reason that you would make a Hall of Fame. You got to have the accolades to back it up. But Clay Matthews Jr. has the accolades to back it up.
He absolutely does. I mean, just think about playing 19 years in one sport. LeBron's done it for 18, okay? And best to ever do it, okay? Clay Matthews, now, was he the best to ever do it? Probably not. But think about, like, linebacker, that position itself is such just a force of nature that you have to be in order to sustain that sort of mindset, that body wear and tear, everything like that. And it's not like he was a bum at 19 years. He was still going strong. I believe he led his final year in the league. He was playing with Atlanta, and he led the team in tackles. Like, that doesn't happen for a 40-year-old, okay? That shouldn't happen, at least. And he's out there proving it. Just kind of like how Tom Brady's out here proving it at, 43 years old, going to his 10th Super Bowl, which is ridiculous. But I think that if Clay had one more of, like, if he had at least a Super Bowl appearance, I don't think he makes it to this stage. I think the just where he was at, I mean, he was in Cleveland for years, and he was a winner. He was a winner. It's not like he was on these, 1999 to 2017 years. Right, exactly. He wasn't on those sort of teams. He was on contending playoff teams that were consistently going to the AFC Championship games. So it does, sort of look weird because, I mean, he has all the stats. He has more tackles than Brian Urlacher. I mean, he has, I think, 60-ish sacks up there. I think he has like 18 interceptions. I mean, he has a lot of things going for him. It's just, I think the longevity, we look at it as a positive because that you just don't see that. I think the committee looks at that as like a stat piling sort of thing.
Right.
And you shouldn't look at it that way. I mean, you should look at it from the standpoint of, like, nobody's ever done this before. And he shouldn't have lasted this long. The fact that it is his last go around for, like, the regular class, and, after this, if he doesn't make it this year, then he has to go to the senior circuit, which you only are able to get one player or one coach or one owner in at a time.
So you go into
it
a
makes
big
it
pool.
so much tougher. It really does.
You go into a big pool. That's tough. Makes it so much tougher to get out
Right.
of. While it's still an honor to get in the Hall of Fame, it just it seems ridiculous if he doesn't make it in. I mean, so he was a first-round pick back in 1978, a career that spanned from 1978, late 70s, to 1996.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
I wasn't even a thought when he started, and I was 5 years old when he finished his career. I mean, that's crazy to think about in itself. But he was first round, pick number 12 out of USC for the Browns, played, I believe it was 16 of the 19. It was 3 seasons down there in Atlanta to finish off his career.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned some of the stats, almost 1,600 tackles, almost 70 sacks, 16 interceptions, 1 touchdown in his career. And you got guys like Troy Polamalu, like not just Clay Matthews' son,
Right.
who, Browns fans clamored for and were always upset about and always bring up how the Browns passed on him 3 times the year he came out. But you have guys like Troy Polamalu, who's a Hall of Famer, that are saying, why isn't this guy in yet? You have credible people in the league saying, this is still a conversation. How did he not get in last year? How did he not get in a few years ago? Why is he getting to the end of his tenure on this ballot?
Yeah.
Peter, I know you watched him play, and just how is he still not in the Hall of Fame?
I have no idea. I mean, he was such a, just a rock, is for the Browns, and the fact that he's not is, makes you scratch your head. So I really hope that he gets in. I mean,
he was a force of nature.
Yeah,
it is exactly what he was. I mean, you just read off the stats right there. It doesn't do him justice.
Right.
Those stats, because once again, 19 years, and once again, he led Atlanta the last year of his career. He led him in tackles.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen for a 40-year-old. It's such a damn shame that it hasn't happened yet for him. But tonight could change everything.
Good.
And the best part about this is that, we always talk about, oh, this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. This guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Tony Grossi brought up the fact, and I'm glad he did. Tony brought up the fact yesterday on The Next Level. He said, it's not like you get an award for being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a first, second, third, as long as you're in.
As long as you got the gold jacket.
As long as you got the gold jacket and you got the plaque in Canton, that's all that matters. And you know what? Tonight could be our night. And it should be. And, after this great, phenomenal year for the Browns, terrible year for everyone else. But, for this great year for the Browns, this should cap it off. And, I hope it does. I really hope it does.
Right. And Tony Grossi, of course, beat reporter, Browns beat reporter for ESPN Cleveland and thelandondemand.com, who is the one that presented the case. I think
Great
he did.
job.
I think he presented the article of how he did it.
He did.
I haven't gotten a chance to see that yet, but I know that Tony's been covering the team for so long. So
covered him his entire time here, basically. Yeah. Well, a couple years into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to think. I mean, today has to be the day, but we don't know the results as of yet, and they may be coming down as the show is on. Do need to mention that portions of this program may be previously recorded, so if you are tuning in. But let's look at either perspective then. Let's start kind of, I'd rather go from negative to positive.
Sure.
And go in that route. What would it mean to this city if he doesn't get in? What is the outlook or what is the perspective in this town if he doesn't get in?
Once again, it would hurt. It would hurt, seeing as the fact that, he would have to go to the senior route, but he still has another option. It's not like this is his only chance ever. We've seen guys, and now it's been years, and God bless, everyone that makes it, into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. But you hope that he can relish it. You don't want to be the guy that, gets in whenever he's dead. That's the worst thing in the world, because your family will be like, hey, that's great. But he would have enjoyed this moment. Let's not let that happen. I'm not saying he's on his deathbed or anything like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do just want to throw that out there. Get him in now. I know that there's other deserving guys. Everyone's deserving that is on this finalist list.
Right.
Everyone is absolutely deserving for it. But this is his last chance to make it I'd say the easiest, but the best route for him. Just get him in. It would mean so much to this, community if he gets in. If he doesn't, though, it would suck. But once again, there are options out there for him. He still has an opportunity. But once again, it would mean so much to this, right now for him to get in.
Peter, I mean, if he doesn't get in, I mean, what? Can you see any sort of reason why he shouldn't be in? No,
he should be in already. I mean, that's just it. With the stats that he had, the career that he had, he should already be in. And the fact that, this is the last chance on the normal route for him to get in is, honestly, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and you understand, I mean, Browns fans have been, whether you saw him play or as we were kind of brought up on what he was doing and shown film on a guy that played 19 seasons in the NFL and something that hadn't been done before. And yeah, we are Browns fans, so that we want our guy to be in an hour down the road where football was created. Right. We want one of our guys to be in, because the Matthews family is always talking about the Browns. Yeah, when Clay was with the Packers, the son was with the Packers, yeah, they're about Packer football. But if it wasn't Packers versus Browns, they're talking Packers and they're talking Browns. Because Browns are always going to be in their minds. It's always going to be in their heart. Cleveland is a part of them.
It's in their blood.
It's in their blood. And so, yeah, it sounds like, yeah, it's just a sentimental favorite. But just look at it. Just try to take yourself out of the orange and Browns glasses for a second. You hear what the stats we just went down. 1,600 tackles, 70 sacks, 19 seasons, still leading a team professionally in your last season of 19.
Yeah.
How do you not get in? I mean, that's why it would be so crushing in this town. And to flip the script to what it means if he gets in, that's why it would mean so much, and it would be such a heartwarming and beautiful story in this town to see Clay Matthews Jr. get into the Hall of Fame where he should be.
Yeah.
That's what he has earned from the hard work that he put in his career. All the long days of training camp and getting your body right in between seasons. And remember, nowadays it's a little bit easier to get your body back in, ready to kind of take that 16, now becoming 17 game grind with the medical and scientific research that they have and all of the technology that these guys have access to with the contracts that they have to keep their bodies in shape and go as long as they can go. He was doing this, it's already almost 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how he isn't in, but it would mean that much to this town and to that building, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, to have a guy like Clay Matthews Jr. represented in their hallowed halls. That's I don't know. There's not much more of a case that you can make. It's up to the people voting, and
they already have the votes are already tallied. They most likely these guys already know who's in or who's not. It's all kept under wraps. I know that they're going to be filming all the guys knocking on the rooms like, hey, how's it going? You're in the hall. Like all those great videos are going to get posted everywhere. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Clay gets in for it too.
Yeah, hopefully one of those doors opening. You see Clay Matthews Jr. and his family, and get a big moment for them, and then turns into a big moment for the city. Some of the other honors, of course, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. I know that the Rookie of the Year has already been announced as the Pepsi one. He got his award, Justin Herbert. So you're looking at a guy like that. Mm-hmm. But Coach of the Year is the one that we're also looking at.
Sure.
Do we know who the MVP is this season?
Yeah, I mean it's Aaron. Aaron. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a no doubter. I mean, the guy had I think 48 total touchdowns. I mean, he's the guy. Yeah, he's the number one seed in the NFC. Did he get knocked out unceremoniously? Yeah, kinda. Mm-hmm. Refs, whatever. We're not going to get into that. Right. But he had a MVP type of year. I think that he is very well deserving. It should go Aaron, Mahomes, probably Josh Allen. Yeah. I think those are probably the three. I don't know if they're going to rank them like that, or if it's just number one. But yeah, it should be Rodgers.
Those will be the top three, and the votes come out. Like who's in what position, how many first place votes, how many points they get. That'll be all afterwards. But congratulations to all of those athletes that are up for these awards, that have put in the work this season to be up for those awards, especially in a COVID year, and that win the award. Mm-hmm. But the one we care about is Coach of the Year. I mean, he's won.
Right. Kevin
Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns has won the other two, the Pro Football Writers, and I'm forgetting the name of the other one. It escapes me right now, but he's won the other two. Mm-hmm. Do you see any way that he doesn't get this one?
No. I mean, he's the most deserving. I mean, he's cleared the demons here in Cleveland. I mean, he really has. I mean, he's come in, he's changed the culture. There are certain culture setters on this team that have changed everything around. I think you and I can both agree. Jarvis, bless him. The moment he stepped off the plane from Miami to Cleveland, he was the culture starter.
Been contagious.
Exactly. Drafting Baker turning it around this year, especially the second half of the year, proving that he is a leader and proving that he can go out there and win a ball game for you. And then Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, like those are the top three in my mind. And Miles has been much more of a voice on the defense this year and been a positive light and force, especially coming from the incident last year, coming all the way back from this. And he actually has a chance of being the Walter Payton Man of the Year. We haven't talked about that. Like he has the the opportunity to do that tonight, I believe, as well. So it'd be fantastic if we could get Clay, Stefanski, and a Walter Payton Man of the Year. I think that's a little bit of a stretch for Garrett, but to see the work he does with the Water Boys and going out there in Africa and doing everything that he's been doing with that group has been fantastic. What a great turnaround! What a great story! But I mean, there's a lot of very just like justly people that could win that award. I know Russell Wilson's up for it. There's a bunch of other people as well, and I'm sure they're all very very good for it as well.
Yeah, that award is probably the one that when we don't have people up for the other awards, like that's the one I'm looking at.
Right.
Who is the Walter Payton Man of the Year? And really, I'm looking at who is the representative for each team, not just the Browns, but each team when they announce that in the second half of the season every year.
Yeah.
Because we know the business of sports. These guys are going to make multi-million dollars. They're going to have the luxury cars, the luxury homes, all of the fancy stuff that we all dream of having.
Of course.
Don't like it, but I mean, we know the business.
Sure.
So, but it's the guys and the girls in professional sports that take that money that they're given and the platform that they're given on such a big stage and use that to enhance their communities, the world around them, people in need, taking time out of their days where, some guys just sit back, they go home, they play their video games, they're in their lap of luxury at home and stuff.
And they're allowed to do that.
They're allowed to, that's their right. That is their right. But the ones that go out of their way, and they're not looking for the cameras to be on them or anything like that, they have causes already near and dear to their heart, what maybe some things that they've had to overcome themselves, and the help that they got, they want to be able to give more resources to the people still dealing with it and to help people in need. It's great what you do on the field. It's even better when those on-field accolades are nowhere near the person and the help that you give off the field.
The people that go the extra mile deserve the recognition for that. Whether they want it or not, they absolutely should. And once again, Miles and all of the other guys that are nominees for that Walter Payton Man of the Year award, they absolutely should be recognized, and deservingly so, because you don't get nominated just because you're one of the guys.
Right.
Like, you're going out of your way to do good for others. And thankfully it seems like we have plenty of guys out there on this team that it's unlike so many other years that we've had, here in Cleveland, that it's all about me, or guys that are, looking for that last big contract, and then they just come here and loaf. We don't have guys like that. Everyone that has come here has been dedicated to their craft, and a lot of the guys have gone out of their way to become even better citizens outside of the, outside of the football field.
Yeah, and I think I even saw Mac Wilson took some kids on shopping spree at Target, and he's been doing that several times.
And we give crap to players like Juju.
Yeah.
Juju is one of the most well-liked guys. Once again, we hate him for the TikTok and all that sort of stuff. Right, yeah. Do whatever.
Corvette.
Yeah, Corvette. Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
Right, do whatever you want to do, Juju.
If we get sponsored, I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. But Juju, once again, I want to give him praise, because he goes out of his way. I saw that I think he gave away $50,000 to kids, and fantastic. Good for him.
Yeah, it's those heartwarming stories that you see, and you said it. The Browns have a bunch of those guys. It's high character guys. You've heard other front offices say they want high character guys. They want
right,
but it's about finding a way to allow those high character guys to enable them to do what they do best and be themselves. Now there is a culture where everyone is bought in, and those that I don't want to say weren't high character guys or weren't about doing these good things in the community, being philanthropic, as they say, they are just more inclined because they see other guys. And while there wasn't, in COVID time, there wasn't as many of these food drives at the food bank, because you can't have as many people in there and everything. Most of the time when you see videos of the Browns and their give back communities, you're not just seeing the ones that are on the practice squad or, on special teams.
Yeah.
You're seeing the big names. And not because they were forced to, because they want to. And
it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. And that's the type of guys, that's the type of girls that you want if you're going to start a team and be able to use that platform for more than just what you do on the field and extend that off the field. Switching gears, of course, to the Super Bowl tomorrow night. Tampa Bay Buccaneers they're the first team to host a Super Bowl, to play in their home stadium of where the Super Bowl is being hosted. Super Bowl 55, they take on the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs, with that high-powered offense that they have there, and, of course, Patrick Mahomes, there was questions going into the AFC Championship game about how would he come back from that whiplash that he kind of suffered there, and even more so, people were more concerned about his toe.
Yeah.
He looked fresh. He looked
good.
He looked real good. Now 2 weeks off to prepare, kind of get, use a week to get the body going, then get the game plan in and practice throughout the week.
Right.
Doesn't seem like there were inklings of some COVID issues, but looks like this game is going off without a hitch.
Thankfully. God, thankfully.
And you got Tom Brady going to his 10th Super Bowl, possibly winning 7 of those 10.
Which would be more than any other franchise. Any other franchise. Think about that. Yeah. This game has been played. This will be the 55th Super Bowl, and he's been to 20% of them. that is ridiculous.
It's insane. I mean, and I'm one of those people that's like, oh, Tom, why don't you just go away for a while?
I know.
But it's still like you have to respect the
100%.
game. You have to respect the greatness of that, and to now be, kind of like trying to copy Peyton Manning. The only thing Peyton Manning has over Tom Brady is that he won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams.
The only quarterback to ever do that.
Only quarterback to ever accomplish that feat. If Tom gets that and ties him there, I mean, there's just that you can't question greatest.
So I think this game is more about the legacy of both quarterbacks than anything else
it is.
Out there. I mean, Tampa Bay, sure, they could win their 2nd Super Bowl and in franchise history. 3rd for the Chiefs, first team to ever go back-to-back, since the 2003-2004 Patriots. Gerard, our buddy, was on that team. But I think that this comes down to more of the legacy factor for the quarterbacks itself. And obviously everyone's going to talk about it, Tom with his 7th or Mahomes with his 2nd. If Tom beats Mahomes, there is no chance it seals up everything that we already knew. Right. Instead of, being the greatest football player of all time, probably goes down as the greatest athlete in the history of at least America. I mean, you think about Jordan, he has 6. Yeah. I think I can't remember how many Wayne Gretzky has or anything like that. I know he has a ton of them as well, but like the great ones, the greatest players of all time. I know Bill Russell has 11 championships in 13 years, but let's be honest, he was going up against 12 teams compared to the 32 in this day and age sort of stuff. So,
I stutter, or I kind of take a pause when I hear Tom being the best athlete of all time if he wins 7 and gets past Jordan's 6. Okay. Because when I think athlete, I'm my definition of
a Lamar or something like that.
The athleticism to do that. It takes a lot to be the quarterback, and
of course
it's the most important position in all of sports.
Yeah, 43 years old too.
Right, but the way in which kind of you've gotten to these championships and things. I mean, there's been some years where he's been able to stand behind a really good offensive line and just stand there because he's that quintessential pocket passer. I don't want to say, I don't know how to describe it. I'm going to struggle to say top athlete of all time.
Would you say he's the greatest winner?
That's probably where I would say.
And that's fine.
That's if you want to say that, if you want to put Tom Brady and Michael Jordan in the same conversation, I wouldn't use the word athlete. I would use accomplished or winner, or champion.
You know what? Champion sounds better. For it.
Champion of all time,
like Tom Brady versus Usain Bolt, or Tom Brady versus Michael Phelps. I understand where you're coming from with the athlete, so probably champion's the better way of putting that.
Right, and it's not something where I'm gonna, if people say it, I'm gonna be pounding the table and arguing and anything like that. It's just it's that comparison conversation where I think things get misconstrued. I mean, you mentioned Bill Russell with the 11 championships. Well, when you mention the best champion and best player in basketball history, Bill Russell doesn't come up. But they bring up Michael Jordan, and what is the one stat that they go to for Michael Jordan? I know it was 6 in a row, and in the years that he played, he had the three-peat, went to go play baseball. Next 3 years he comes back, like he's 6-0 in finals. That's how he won those.
Yeah.
But there's a lot else that goes into that story.
Of course.
And I know that Bill Russell was playing in the era he did. But people then always say, they always come back with, well, you can't compare eras. You can't compare eras. So when people talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron, the main stat is 6-4 now.
Right.
But Bill Russell has 11, and he was part coach of the Celtics and everything in an era where, you got to play what you give him with and who you got to play against. So I'm not saying, I'm not making the argument for Bill Russell. I'm just saying the bigger argument is the reason why I can't use the word athlete mainly is the misconstrued information or the way the words are presented to the mass.
And if you break it down word for word, greatest athlete, I mean, you could throw, once again, Usain Bolt, and Michael Phelps. I mean, Michael Phelps, like Olympian, easily, but you look at it from that way. So I agree with you there. We can say the greatest champion. However, if Patrick Mahomes wins, that opens up the door for the possibility of Mahomes being the greatest to possibly overtake Brady. Now, it would have to be, he'd have to get at least a minimum of 4 Super Bowls. Okay. And once again, Dan Marino only went to 1. He went to 1 in his second year and never got back there. I'm not saying that Mahomes is never going to make it back to another Super Bowl, but let's be honest. Odds are he's not going to make it to 10. He's not going to have all the opportunities that Tom Brady has had. Yeah. If Tom wins, that seals up everything. I think that like Mahomes could get to 6 or 7 and Brady ends up with 7. Brady still has it over Mahomes. Right. So end of story. Sorry. Unless you get to 8, we're not going to give it to you. But once again, if Mahomes does beat Brady, and I mean, they're favored, they should technically, you should, they're the better team, there for them. You screw home field advantage. Yeah. You should be able to beat them. If he does, once again, that opens up the door for him to overtake Brady once again in the long run. But I'm telling you, like, if Brady seals it up tomorrow, and like, it feels weird because I'm kind of rooting for Brady. I kind of am. And like the way that I look at it is like, I don't wish bad things upon anyone. Okay. Nothing like that. But I do think that Patrick Mahomes is getting a little too big for his bridges. Like everyone's like, oh my God, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like Trey Wingo says, and formerly of ESPN, always brings up he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's played 3 years. Like he's already calling him the greatest. And like, I get it. He's 20 in his last, in his last 25 games, he's 24-1. Yeah. It's pretty damn good. With the Super Bowl in there and everything like that. But the thing for me personally is I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, I feel like he has to get knocked down at some point in time. And he doesn't have his 2 offensive tackles. He's missing a backup center. Sammy Watkins is probable. Like there's a lot of things going against him. And this Tampa Bay defense is strong and they are hungry. Like I know they got torn up in week 12 and whenever Mahomes threw for like 460 against them. But I do believe that this is a different defense because Tampa Bay has been playing out of their mind or, since that loss. So I think that they could avenge him on that one.
Yeah, I've heard Patrick Mahomes compared to just the personality-wise, characteristic-wise, Steph Curry. I can't stand Steph Curry. And I know people say that the Cavs aren't in it for championships and the Warriors and Cavs aren't meeting anymore. Sure. It's what? I still don't like Steph Curry.
Right. No, I agree. You know what? I did like Curry up until, like we had to play against him. I was all for that dub nation. Whenever I was living out in San Diego, I was like, you know what? Like if it wasn't for Kyrie, I remember telling one of my buddies I worked with at Life Proof, he is the biggest Oakland fan, like Raiders at that point in time, and then as well as the Warriors. I told him if it wasn't for Kyrie, Steph would probably be my favorite. And then they met in the finals. I was like, man, my favorite versus yours. And they beat us. And I like forever hated Steph after that.
See, and that's where I was going to kind of go. Like, I still like Patrick Mahomes, but if he wins this one and he really starts to get that Steph Curry treatment and then starts to kind of as you said, kind of getting a little big for the britches there,
Right.
and starts to act like Steph Curry. I enjoyed Steph Curry's game before we met and before I saw him take on like all the praise and take that to a whole
And you know
another
who
level.
we have to blame for that?
Who?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, that's true.
Kevin Durant
Yeah.
ruined everything because it was going to be the greatest series, greatest finals
Yeah.
repeat ever if it wasn't for Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And like I think he truly ruined it because at that moment in time, yeah, we hated Steph, but it's because it's like our team versus yours, and like I don't think that we'd have that sort of vial for him if Kevin Durant doesn't sign with a 72-win team,
Right. Our best three.
73-win team.
Yeah, our best three versus your best three, and we overcome the 3-1 deficit, and two teams that have been developed in different ways. One through the draft, one through free agency and trades. Well, all three, I guess, free agency, trade, and draft with Kyrie. But kind of, and then you got these other pieces around that are gonna kind of help. You got Iguodala and Jefferson, and then KD comes in and just
I
says,
just ruined it all.
everything. So yeah, I still don't like Steph Curry, and if Mahomes wins another one, it may start to turn in my thoughts on Patrick Mahomes. We'll see kind of how this game goes, and maybe have those conversations down the road. Now you mentioned that how this game, before we kind of really get into like predictions and like a nice breakdown there for it, the storyline in this game is quarterbacks. We feel like we have our quarterback here in Cleveland. So the question is, to tie it into Cleveland, and this question is in honor of the late, great Les Levine, because we want to give our thoughts and prayers and condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, fans of Les Levine, the voice of truth and reason. I mean, there is a reason why we are trying to bring sports talk back to reality, reason, and if we have to pound the table for something, we have to call somebody out, we will.
Right.
But it's going to be for legitimate, real reasons, passionate reasons. And Les Levine, it was an inspiration for that. So to really bring some reality to a Cleveland topic, truth and reason here, how close are the Browns to being in this game in the future? Are they a year, couple years, or more away?
I think the window's open. I truly do believe, like, if you win a playoff game, you should be considered a Super Bowl threat. And we destroyed the Steelers at Pittsburgh. Destroyed them. Destroyed the Steelers. I love saying that.
I hate the Steelers.
It's fantastic. I love
People
it.
brought that up so much when they heard me say that. They're like, the way you said it, you hate the Steelers. Yeah, I hate the Steelers.
Because we do. But I think if you win a playoff game, you should be considered a Super Bowl contender, not just getting to the dance and being happy with it. Like Miles said, you want to dance with the pretty girl, you gotta be able to go the entire dance there. I think that we're right there. I think our window's open now. I think we were a year early, for this year. So like, you might as well open it up. I think that we're gonna be right there. It wouldn't surprise me if we made it to the AFC Championship game next year, and we're facing Mahomes and the Chiefs, or Allen and the Bills, or Lamar and the Ravens. It wouldn't surprise me because I think those are the top 4 teams right there: Browns, Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs. Those are the top AFC teams there for us. Going from here on out. I think we're right there. I really do. I think that we need to shore up our defense a little bit. Baker proved that he is it's going to sound demeaning, if I say that he's a good enough quarterback to get us to the promised land, but he's good enough. Like I'll take 26-8 and 3,500 yards, and in a quarterback rating of 92, I'll take that all day, because that shows that you come up clutch whenever it matters the most. And I think that he does. And with how strong our running game is, once again, our offense, I think, is already Super Bowl caliber. It's just fixing that defense, getting whether you want the big name players, like I know a lot of people want Richard Sherman or JJ Watt. Like, I think you do need to get, like, maybe not those guys, particular, individual them, but like you got to get the guys that are team vets, that have been there, that have done that. I don't know anyone else off the top of my head, but like I would rather have Richard Sherman on this team than JJ Watt. Okay. And not to say like Richard Sherman can play the number 2 anymore, because I don't think he probably can. But like to have that sort of mindset, the guy's been there. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, he's been 3 Super Bowls.
I think so.
He went with the Niners last year, and then he was with 2 Seahawks won 1 ring. It was the Legion of Doom. Like he is that good. So like I would love to see them pick up one of those guys, because I think that would just shore up everything and give us the opportunity to get to the dance next year.
Peter, how long realistically can we expect to see the Browns playing in a Super Bowl?
Well, I think we have a good shot next year. I mean, honestly, if you look at how well we played this year, we performed better against the Chiefs than the Bills did.
Absolutely.
And really we could have, I think, I was talking about this with Jacob earlier, that hit, that fumble at the freaking 1 yard line in the end zone. And the interesting thing about that is so many times you would see people think, oh, same old Brown, blah, blah, blah. There were so many people, like sportscasters, saying, you know what, they got screwed by a stupid rule. Yeah, that's the rule, but that's a stupid rule. And this instance demonstrate it wasn't, oh, the Browns screwed up again. You had some of that, but it was like, you know what, the NFL needs to fix this rule because this is BS. And I honestly think we could have been there potentially this year, but which is shocking. But I think we're in a good position, and it's still weird to me to agree with Nick and say it's the best 4 teams in the AFC are
It's true.
The Browns, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. But you're right. And I think we have a legitimate shot over the next couple years. If we can get the key pieces in there. I do kind of want to see JJ Watt. But he's getting,
I'm not going to turn JJ away.
No. I mean, he's getting a little older, little issues with injuries, but it's like
he played all 16 this year. He only had 5 sacks. Two came in like week 2. But
but it's like I think if we shore up those pieces we need, we're a legitimate contender. So
I think you have to get to one in the next 2 years. And I'm not saying that after those 2 years the window closes, because you're going to have the core guys and the culture established to continue competing moving forward. Now, that road to compete in the AFC is going to go through Kansas City. One way or another, it has to go through Kansas City if you want to be in their position, or else they're just going to keep going and going and going to the Super Bowls, just like the Patriots did. They're going to become the new Patriots with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes as the new Belichick and Brady. But you got to get to a Super Bowl and possibly win one in the next 2 years, only because in this circumstance, the window that they have now, we talked about it last week, and we'll talk about it more as we dig deeper into moves of the future for JJ, Sherman, leaders like that on this team, but where you have the money available to bring in older guys like that don't have a lot left, but they can give you a couple years, be that veteran leadership. Then the young guys that you're bringing in or that are already on this team, now they see it from a player perspective, and what the coach is saying, what Stefanski is saying, is something that guys like J.J. Watt and Richard Sherman already believe in. They know what that mentality, how you use that mentality to get to the big game and win a Super Bowl. And you said that Baker Mayfield is good enough. It could sound like a slight.
Right. But I don't mean it for it to sound like that.
But Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be the MVP tonight. He's got, he's got 48 touchdowns. The stat book is full of what people want to see in a quarterback. All the touchdowns, all the, all these great plays, escaping the pocket and leading your team.
Yeah.
He's not in the Super Bowl. So you don't have to be that to be a franchise quarterback,
right.
A Super Bowl winning quarterback. Each team is going to have a different way to get there. And Baker Mayfield is the guy for how the Browns want to operate to get to a Super Bowl. Now, and everybody was saying this year that the Browns were probably a year ahead. I mean, you could realistically see them by next year or within the next 2 years getting to and possibly winning a Super Bowl, and it'd be the first time the Browns actually make it to the game and win it. That would be one heck of a story 56,
Absolutely.
57 years into the game being called the Super Bowl. You have to continue to build. Some people are like still broken up about the Browns losing in that one play that Peter just brought up.
Yeah.
Other people are like, well, they're 1 year ahead and they're okay. Like they're okay with it because it's like, oh, like we didn't expect this anyways. And it was COVID and everything. Well, now the expectations are going up. So the expectations should always be high.
Yeah.
Now they're really going to ramp up. How is this team going to respond to that and continue head down, blinders on, and just keep doing what they have been doing?
In just before we switch gears here for us, they should be ramped up.
Yep.
Expectations should be ramped up. Baker said it, the final probably 4 weeks of the year, like people's expectations of this team need to change.
Yep.
We're no longer that, hey, if we get 7 wins, that's a win. That's a great season.
Yeah.
Peter, we used to, we were joking about it, at the beginning of the year. Hey, you get to 7 wins. I'll say that's a solid year. That's one more win than we had last year. Then we can build off that and that and that. We got 11. Honestly, probably could have had 13. Like just off the top of my head, we should have taken that Oakland game and the Jets game if we didn't have COVID issues and didn't have a single wide receiver out there. Literally had nothing but practice squad players. You probably wouldn't. You definitely win that game. I'll say that you definitely win that game. So 13-3. Now I'm not saying that you're going to get to 13-3 next year, but you should be as good, if not better, going forward. So 11-5, if you go 11-5, that'll probably win you the division next year. 11-5, 12-4. And then just once you get to the playoffs, you got to be game for it. And I think we showed up. Everyone in Pittsburgh thought we were going to get clapped, against KC. What happened? We went out there, we fought tooth and nail. Exactly. We lost by 5 points. That sucks. But we know we are that good. And if KC wins the whole damn thing, like we're going to be looking at it from the standpoint of like we competed with the Super Bowl winner at their place. We can do that again.
We want that. Like
I want it.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah. Woo!
Woo!
Ric Flair, baby.
Absolutely. But like 100%, so.
Said it right. I mean, you got to, if you want to get to the top of the mountain, you got to go through those that have already been there and already tasted that. And, Browns kind of, if Chiefs do win, are like, one play away, huh?
Yeah.
If your mantra was we want more, you want more, go get more next season. It's going to take everybody, and it's going to take the same mentality. No one can stray from this philosophy. But this year, the Browns are not in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55 is Tampa Bay versus Kansas City. Go around the table, and I'll start with my brother across the table from me. Prediction for this game, and kind of a sidebar question.
Sure.
You kind of brought it up. Thing I wanted to touch on. If the Chiefs do win, do you feel better or worse about... Or based on how the Browns played against them, are you rooting for or against? Does that cause you to think of the Chiefs in one way or another?
Yesterday, I would have told you, or, a couple days ago, I probably would have told you, I definitely think, I definitely don't want the Chiefs to win.
Yeah. Just
to make me feel bad. But as we were just talking, I'm starting, to convince myself if the Chiefs do win, you literally lost to the Super Bowl winner. and you were only a couple plays away from winning that game. So what's not to say you couldn't have been there?
Right.
You not hoisting the trophy. So I kind of like, if the Chiefs do win, I don't care who wins. Like, this is this is the point that it comes down to. I don't want the Patriots to win. I don't want the Steelers or Ravens to win. I'm cool with it. Tom Brady's, expatriate, no longer with them, though. If Tampa Bay wins, cool, good for them. Good for that city. Like, good luck getting out of that game. Like the whole streets are going to be cram packed down there. Good luck getting out of there alive. Oof. But like I would rather see Tom Brady win it for the 7th and pray to God he goes then. But there's no way that happens. I don't want to see KC win it. I don't know why. Once again, Mahomes is getting a little too big for his britches. Okay. Everyone's up on his jockstrap. So, like, for me personally, like, I'll say Tampa Bay 34-28. Okay. And it'll be a good game, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good game. Peter, are you rooting for against the Chiefs because of how they played against the Browns, or how do you see this game going? What's your prediction?
That's the thing. I'm on the fence with that because on one hand, see, when I was a kid, I always loved the Browns. I always kind of liked the Patriots, and I think it was just because they were the Patriots. They were. Everyone called Dallas America's team, but I'm like, no, but the Patriots. They're the USA, the Patriots. So because I was stupid.
Because I was stupid.
America.
Right. So I think on one hand, it'd be great to see Brady go to Tampa Bay, bring a championship to that city.
Yeah,
they haven't had one in quite a while, and I think that would cement just how good Tom Brady is.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if the Chiefs win, we were so close to beating them that it just kind of like you said, Nick, that could have been us.
Right.
So I'm kind of waffling back and forth, and I can see where Nick's coming from with, Mahomes getting ahead of, the big head on his shoulders and that can be irritating because when you compare him to Steph Curry, even my wife would like to just smack that mouthpiece out of Curry, because that irritates her, which is funny to watch her get irritated during the finals.
I want to throw one at him.
Right, no doubt.
She would get so mad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for a good game. I'm not going to throw out a score, but I'm hoping it's going to be a close game. I'm hoping it's going to be entertaining because honestly, we've had some Super Bowls where it's the best thing is the frickin' halftime show and the commercials because the game is just so bad.
It's been a while since that happened, though.
Yeah.
One last thing for me, and I'll let you take care of the rest. The one good thing about this Super Bowl, if Brady does win it, you know what? I am kind of rooting. Now that I think about it more, I do want Brady to win because that just diminishes everything that Bill Belichick has had done. Them calling and like, now don't get me wrong, the guy has like 6 championships, I mean, obviously all as a head coach, and then I think he has like 3 or 4 as a defensive coordinator. The guy's made of rings. Okay. But the thing is I just want to see, like, I need to see someone go down in flames. And if it's not going to be Patrick Mahomes in a loss or anything like that, I want to see people start ripping on Bill Belichick, for him essentially holding back Brady by not getting him the weapons and Brady not wanting to be in New England anymore. So I'm all for Tom Brady getting number 7, Bill Belichick looking, at home, turning off his TV at halftime. I'm all for that.
Yeah, and I think while it's been very few and far between, people may criticize Tom Brady for being a system quarterback. So, like, if he wins, it kind of shows he is that dude. Belichick is that dude as a coach. So you don't win in spite of Belichick being
how sweet would that be?
Right. Like, that's just a coup de grace there for, anybody that's against Bill Belichick to kind of see that happen. I mean, looking at this game, I love this. I love this Chiefs offense, and I know that I'm going to start to hate them if they win another one. Like, I'm going to look at them like the Golden State Warriors because it is that high tempo, high pace. You think you got Mahomes in the backfield, and he's got this sidearm throw where he's escaping the pocket, and then someone comes open because he has such a connection with those receivers, with the Cleveland Heights product. Travis Kelce is tight end. where when a play breaks down, they know exactly where to be, how to get open, find that open space, and just make something out of nothing when a play completely breaks down. Brady is still that dude, though. He is one of those GOATs that people talk about on the other side. And to go to Tampa Bay, and yes, they got talent down there, and yes, that defense is really good, but from where this season kind of started for them to get to this game and be at home, this is going to be a good one. You can talk about, I know that people will tune in for the national anthem. They'll tune in for the weekend. And I like the weekend, but I know it's, it may be more subdued than other halftime shows because I think the NFL has caught more flack for some of the, more than PG style.
It's been a while since anything, Janet Jackson-ish happened.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of almost like it's gone to that line that people aren't liking, and it's this cancel culture in pop culture, cancel culture.
Although that was like one of the most rewatched halftime shows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What, you have TiVo?
Go back. But I mean, I don't hate the Chiefs. I guess I don't hate the Chiefs or I'm not rooting against them. Like you, Paul, I don't care who wins.
Right. Just give me a good game.
There's Super Bowls where I may have said I'd like it if this team won or that team won. I really wasn't rooting for anybody. I may have been rooting against a player or rooting for a player. Mm-hmm. But I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. These teams are not the Cleveland Browns. So I don't care who wins. Kudos to the city. Kudos to the team that ends up winning. But it's a football game. It's a sporting event. It's a must-watch for sports fans or pop culture fans with all the commercials and everything, and maybe even Marvel fans. There might be some trailers for some upcoming projects in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I heard that there's going to be a Falcon and Winter Soldier tease. So
need that.
There you go.
But I mean, I'm a sports fan, so I need the game to be good too. And I think this one is going to be a good one. And the storyline really is going to be, is it Brady just continuing to assert his dominance even at his age of 42, 43? Or is it going to be the young gun that's going to take the mantle? Because Patrick Mahomes, the first year he was a starter, he went to the AFC Championship game, lost to Tom Brady. This could be your last chance to supersede the GOAT. I mean, that could do wonders as early as his legacy is in its growth or development. That could do a lot for his legacy.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to make a prediction. I know I don't make predictions on this.
Wow. Okay.
Because I don't care about these teams. So I don't care if my predictions have some sort of bad juju on them or bad karma on them.
Right.
Because it ain't going to affect me none. So I'm going to go Chiefs 31, Tampa Bay 27. Chiefs are your Super Bowl champions back-to-back. Mahomes gets his second, and the young gun gets the job done. I see Travis Kelce having a big game because they're going to focus a lot on Tyreek Hill after having 200 yards in that first half in that first game.
Yeah. It
feels like years ago since that game happened. But I think Travis Kelce is going to have a bigger impact than Tyreek Hill for this Chiefs offense, and they win 31-27. As we kind of wind things down here, just real quick, do you guys have a favorite either prop bet for this Super Bowl or a favorite commercial of all time?
Peter.
It's funny because usually there's so many great commercials, but after a while it's hard to remember them. So I was kind of going through the list, and one of the ones that I found, which was a great one, was the Snickers Betty White.
Oh yeah,
classic.
yeah.
That's so some of those were just classics, and
Joe Pesci one was good as
well.
Yeah.
There's just so many great, eat a Snickers, right? Mm-hmm. So a sponsorship. So
kind of hungry.
I mean, I do look forward to the commercials, and I talked briefly before this about the T-Mobile. I'll bring up the T-Mobile commercial that was quote unquote banned from the Super Bowl. And there's no way that commercial was banned. Look it up on Facebook. It's out
Couldn't
there.
pay the NFL.
But they didn't have the cash to pay for the spot because they got Brady and Gronk in the commercial. So
no doubt.
Yeah, their budget was out the window right there. But it is a funny commercial. from what I understand, T-Mobile still stinks, so I wouldn't go with them. So,
hey man, our buddy Double A works. Paulus, you got a prop bet or a commercial that really stands out to you?
The prop bet. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. Obviously, you can do the coin flip. What will happen first? Sack or a touchdown? Total passing yards? Everything like that. The one that I like the cross sports one.
Mm-hmm.
So receiving yards, Tyreek Hill, or total points by the Miami Heat. Who's going to have more?
Okay.
So Miami Heat has been awful this year, and they're playing the Knicks that night. Now, the Knicks are better than average defensive team out there. So who's going to have more receiving yards or more points? Tyreek had like 200 in the first quarter. It would be almost idiotic not to pick Tyreek for that, because once again, the Heat can't score anyway. So I'm going to go with Tyreek on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some other ones like, will the game be tied after 0-0? Yeah. You got prop bets on either side. They always have one for the national anthem. I think it's like over under 1:59.
Yep.
What was it? Julianne Sullivan? Was it? I don't know. We got the doctor in the house Dr. Jana Fenstermaker gave us the name of the national anthem. And I already forgot it because I don't even know who this person is. But it could be Eric Church too. Like we don't know if it's like a duet or something. So we've seen two names. We'll find out tomorrow. Maybe that'll become a prop bet. Who actually comes out to sing the national anthem? But my mind is always on the commercials, and one commercial that always stands on my mind, and it's something that probably killed a bunch of brain cells for me, and it's the dumbest thing. It's probably the dumbest commercial to pick.
Okay.
But I believe it was Budweiser or Bud Light, and it was this like dog that runs out of this building. It's almost like the opening scene to one of the opening scenes of Guardians of the Galaxy, where he gets picked up by the Ravagers. And Peter Quill gets picked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this dog that gets picked up into the spaceship, and it's actually a spaceship, or he goes back to the home planet. It's actually an alien in a dog's body.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, what did you learn? And the dude goes, "What's up?" And they're like, "What's up?" He's like, "No, what's up?" And then they just all keep going. Like, it's the dumbest thing.
Right.
But it's the best. Like, it's the one that just stands out in my mind.
Classic.
Besides the Clydesdales for Budweiser, like,
sure.
Like that's the one that really just stands out in my mind.
That's
I don't
fantastic.
know why. But that is going to wrap it up for our Voice of the Land Super Bowl 55 preview. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. We want to once again send our condolences, thoughts, prayers to everyone out there, and to, of course, Les Levine's family on the loss of a Cleveland icon, a Cleveland legend, and a true inspiration for Paulus and myself trying to get into this business. So thoughts and prayers out to them. Thoughts and prayers out to Marty Schottenheimer's family as well, as he was just dealing with Alzheimer's, and he was just moved into hospice care. So all the best to him. I know he's in stable condition, but all the best to a former Cleveland Browns coach, Marty Schottenheimer, and his family as well. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network. For my brother Nick Paulus and our producer extraordinaire Peter Tellep, I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game, and we truly love you all. 3,000. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next Sunday night at 7 p.m.